Today I'll show you everything that you need to know inside and out about this tie utility knife from Big Idea Design. To be totally honest with you, this took me a minute to finally, pull the trigger and buy because of the $195 price tag. But you know what? I'm really glad I did. It's a good-looking mid-sized titanium frame lock with a very simple minimalistic design. They do make a regular version with an S35 VN blade, but that one costs even more than this. The entire knife is held together with just 2 screws. The pivot and, the pummel plate, which also holds the pocket clip in place. There's 2 different ways to open this knife. You get a flipper that disappears, once opened, and an ambidextrous fuller that you can only use from the show side. Now the D10 is pretty strong, so it's tough for me to fail the deployment. I really gotta work at it, and even then, there we go. Since the blade is riding on a ball bearing pivot, it will drop shut with a couple quick shakes. But yeah, that action is a lot better than I expected. Switching blades is super easy you press on, you see this section that kind of looks like, an upside down blade. You go ahead and push on that, which kind of spreads the metal apart. The bracket is stainless steel, so it can be used to, open a bottle once the blade is removed, of course. According to Big Idea Design, there's a wide variety of these refills will fit the knife because, some of them, they come with different notches at the top. Some will have 2, some will have 1, and I guess I've even seen some with 3. I absolutely love this 2-position deep carry pocket clip that really I wish was on more of my knives, because not only does it look good, but it's not going to cause any hot spots in your palm because of, look at how low profile it is. The open construction was a good choice because it is really easy to clean without having to, completely take it apart every time. With most frame locks, I have to be careful how I'm holding it, when opening the blade, because if I put too much pressure on either the lock or the pocket clip, it affects the deployment. They did something really cool with the lock bar design that I can only show you by taking it apart. So, let's do that. You're going to need a T8 for the pivot, which they do actually include in the box, and a T6, which they don't include, to take off the pummel plate. Let's go ahead and start with let's take off this clip and pummel plate first. The notched out design is exactly why the pocket clip doesn't make contact with the lock bar. And it's the reason, why you can put pressure on the clip while opening it, because you can see it's 100% on the scale. Since both pivot screws, are slotted for a Torx bit, I was worried that I would need 2 T8s to be able to take it apart. But I don't, because that pivot is actually captured. One thing that is missing is an over travel stop, that prevents you from bending the lock bar too far out. And, typically it's going to be built into the hardened steel insert, on titanium frame locks, like it is on this Wii Praxis. Because, titanium is usually, is usually softer than the blade steel, but there's no insert, so no over travel stop either. Now there's a couple little pins. Yep, you can see right there on the backspacer and then on the stop pin. And they do come out like pretty easy. So just, you got to be careful and keep track of those. Go ahead and take off that blade. And yeah, now we have a fully disassembled knife. That was pretty easy. Now let's see about putting it back together. You can go ahead and like tighten this pivot down like completely. But, oh yeah, that kind of affects the opening. Yeah, there's some friction there that I can feel and even hear. So let's, I'm going to loosen it. I'm going to back it off just a smidge. And let's see what we get. Oh, yeah, that is much better. Any play? Nope. Nothing. Up, down, left, right. That's good. That's real good. There are plenty of like lower cost knives available, but they're not going to have this level of attention to detail. The Thai utility knife is, it's durable. It has some does this have some great action. It's easy to maintain, even easier to switch out the blades with refills that are cheap, and you can pretty much find them everywhere. Other than the missing over travel stop, and some internal milling to reduce the weight, this is a great box cutter that, I have no problem whatsoever recommending.